Hello, this article is about legacy. And I want to take a moment to explain a little bit about a couple different perspectives on legacy. From a Christian perspective, I think that we all would like to leave a legacy behind that is fruitful and has meaning. I think most Christians want, for instance, their children to grow up to be a legacy to the family's name. And when we raise our children up in a Christian home, in a Christian environment, and teach them about God and about Jesus and the Holy Spirit, it's our hope that those values will be carried forward in our children's thoughts and in their actions throughout their life, and perhaps become habit forming, and such that they become a natural guide in their life. As I've said it before, sort of like the guardrails on both sides of the road, so that when an individual veers a little off center, then the biblical perspectives kick in, the values then help bring centering back in the lives of these individuals, and of course they stay on track and on the road. And I think we want that for our children as well. And so we hope that as we bring our children up with this type of mentality, that they'll carry it forward into their lives in adulthood, and as they raise their children, they will repeat that model and help their children stay within the guardrails of life on their journey. So bringing just those set of Christian values to bear in our children's lives, and do it in such a way that it becomes a way of life, is in itself a legacy to our parenthood. And if we can do that successfully, then we've done all right. And so I would like to turn to a personal story on that particular note. I know I recall folks telling me as I was a young adult that I had a way with words that I could explain very easily very difficult topics, so that anyone can grasp those things and learn whatever it is that I'm trying to tell them or teach them. And for a while that became a part of my life. It became a skill. I had a profession along the lines of teaching for several years in the military, for instance. And so as that carried forward in the rest of my life, it became something that I became very comfortable with doing, and teaching people how to do technical things in engineering and with computers. It kind of became something that I was very good at doing. And another skill that I was complimented with was a skill to be able to use computers in very creative ways to solve very complex problems. And like everyone else, we all get compliments about the things we do and the things we've done, and these were just a couple of mine, and these were ones that I was very proud of, and I did very well exercising those skills over the years. And as at the same time, as a young parent, I'm sure that the things I did, working on computers at home, teaching people how to do these things, I imagine kids see this, and so they begin to model that kind of behavior, work on computers or be good at explaining things to people. And so I found that later in life, my children actually moved in different directions from each other professionally, but interestingly enough, one of them became heavily involved in computers and is an excellent professional programmer, and another one became a teacher. And so it's kind of interesting to look back and realize that a couple of the things that I did exceptionally well apparently manifested themselves in the things I did and things that the children saw, and in different ways affected the children in such a manner that they moved into their young adult lives with those particular favorite attributes as their own. And so my legacy, if it were to be able to influence my children's lives in ways that complement their own and which they embrace and move forward, is a very positive thing. And so I'm sure that many of you have similar kinds of stories. And so, legacy lives on. And, what we become of ourselves and what we do with ourselves and how that affects generations to come is an unknown. But needless to say, if you leave a good legacy behind, then good things will probably develop from that. At least the odds are on those positive traits is good. So, I think that as we consider legacy in a Christian perspective, let's take a moment to reflect upon the legacy of Jesus. As compared to our own, we are only a mere snapshot in the overall amount of time that Christianity has been around. Our lives are very short. Christianity has been around for thousands of years. And yet, isn't it interesting how the way Jesus lived became such that it was well written about in the Bible, passed on from generation to generation. And so one of the many attributes that Jesus left us was his legacy, his teachings, his ideals, all these things that came to him from God the Father, that was passed on through him and to our world and our people. And so we adopt that, and as we accept Jesus and his ways, then here we are thousands of years later and trying our best to model that behavior and live in a proper way. Bumps and bruises included, nonetheless, we aspire to be one with the Word and live according to it. And it's not the point of the article to say how effective we are at that today. I think we all know that we're struggling in that area, and we do the best we can. But the point is that Jesus' legacy still lives on, even after thousands of years. So this is very important that you consider, what you're doing and how you're living, and look at how that affects others. And when possible, you see that a mid-course correction is necessary, then do so in the interest of improving your legacy. And so, what we do today isn't so important as what we leave behind us. And so if we can leave a better world behind us through our children and through our actions and through the things that influence other people and help them throughout the world, then we've done a great thing. Thank you for reading the article and listening to this video. And of course, as usual, if you have any questions and comments especially, feel free to send those to me. I am enjoying those kinds of responses to these articles, and I thank you for taking the time out, and I wish you a blessed day.